You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show.
Oh, such a good song.
Yes. Give me a second, I need to get my story straight.
What season was this from, guys?
This was like
season
3.
Season 3. It's perfect. But I just can't get enough of the song. But Bing is for doing, and we're here doing a special Glee After Show for you all tonight in memory of Cory Monteith. Of course, we're such big Glee fans that we felt it would be appropriate to come together, remember his life, remember the character of Finn, and hopefully talk a little bit about the future of Glee as well.
Yes. Rest in peace, Cory.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm Stephanie Wenger.
I'm Roxy Striar.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marisa Serafini.
And I'm Sarah Mendoza. So, girls, I feel like we should start out with just who he kind of was. I mean, by all accounts, I started as a reporter in LA a few years ago. He's been super kind to me on red carpets. Just a good guy overall.
Yeah, I met him on a red carpet as well, and he just seemed like the sweetest guy, somebody that you could ask to take a picture with, and he was more than happy to do so. Just a really stand-up dude.
I did not have the pleasure of actually meeting him in person, but I've seen countless videos of him just, with paparazzi and fans, like, coming at him and bombarding him, but he still always maintained, like, such a sweet and open composure about himself, and he was always willing to sign autographs for fans, it seemed like. He always took the time, and he just really cared about, really the people that helped him get to where he's at.
Yeah, I haven't met him personally either, but from his cast members and crew members, they all say everything but, every positive thing about him. And even people who were on the Glee project, the spinoff of Glee, they had nothing but nice things to say about Cory.
Yeah, we've had Blake Jenner here in studio, and I remember he was saying what an inspiration it was when he first met Cory Monteith on Glee project.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's such an incredible live performer as well. I've seen him perform on the Glee Live tour, as many Gleeks probably have, and he was so energetic and brought so much stage presence. I remember turning to my friend and just being like, wow, he's come so far from that, first pilot.
Somebody who seems like they really love what they do.
Absolutely.
And is not just in it for the money, and really genuinely wanted to be there. And as we talk to everybody and have been following social media and seeing what his cast members said, even more so what was shocking to me was all the crew members. Well, not shocking because I didn't think otherwise, but they just said he was never an issue, always the sweetest guy, loved to work with him. So
yeah, and it's sad because his career was just kind of starting. We were seeing him finally branch away from Glee a little bit. He had that, he has an indie project coming out that will be released now post. But also he had done Monte Carlo with Selena Gomez and had his own band that they were playing more, I think, locally in the LA area, and I think they had San Diego type shows, and they were just starting to kind of come out.
So the best thing we can do is keep him alive where we are and do things like this and keep him in our hearts and conversations.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe we should start at the beginning of his career with his Glee audition.
Oh,
is like the best audition tape ever because, okay, so we have the song that he sang in the pilot, of course, which is I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore. And it's so much fun to hear him sing that just like in a room by himself. And then he also, I don't think we actually have a clip of it, but he plays the drums as well.
Well, you could call it the drums, but really, when he sent in his audition, he's playing on these. He said that he didn't have any drums available to him, whether he couldn't afford them or something. So he went into the kitchen and grabbed a bunch of cups, and with his pens and his cups, and he's banging on them some tunes because he wanted them to know that he could play an instrument in the audition, and they said that that's really what stood out and what gave him the callback.
Yeah, I thought it was so interesting that he didn't feel like his singing voice would win him the part, and we all love his singing voice now, but that he felt like drums were the way to go to get noticed.
Well, it's true.
And even that shows he's very musically inclined, he's creative, and he just does it for fun and enjoyment. He has that passion for music and instruments.
And Ryan Murphy was saying that when he saw the audition tape, he was like, what is this? But then at the same time, like, he thought it was actually kind of charming that this guy wasn't following the rules because he was supposed to be singing a song on the tape. He's actually banging on, as you said, Tupperware. And cups
Tupperware.
And stuff.
I think that that's what's so unique about Glee, though, is that I think Chris Colfer's character was directly designed for him. Ryan Murphy really took the talents of all these individuals and made something amazing with them, and that's I think is really exciting.
No, it's incredible, and like you guys are saying, now that we've fallen in love with his voice, we love listening to it, but it's not like he's the most classically trained as opposed to his counterpart who, Broadway and whatnot, but he wasn't intimidated. He looked at it head on and did what he always did, which was he was brave and he was incredible, blew our minds.
And that really was what was so charming about him. In many ways, he was actually like Finn, the character on the show, because that's the underdog, like he didn't think he could sing or he would be good enough to sing on the audition, so he kind of made do. And Finn's whole Glee character life is kind of like that, where he's always trying to get ahead, always trying to catch up, but really he is a star, and maybe he just doesn't see it yet. And that was Cory, and that's Finn.
Yeah, should we go ahead and play his audition clip, and then we'll talk a little bit more about his life?
Sure.
I swear, I've never seen that before. It's not mine.
I sent a tape of myself acting to Fox and everybody. They liked the acting, but they wanted to see me sing. And so I sent, begrudgingly, a tape of myself singing REO Speedwagon, I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore.
Which they put into the pilot.
And I can't fight this feeling anymore.
Like those cheesy 80s music videos,
And I can't fight this feeling anymore.
I found out 20 minutes after I left Fox, I got a call.
Even in that small clip, we see that he had that it factor. I mean, if you get a part 20 minutes after you leave the studio, you have a huge it factor.
Of course, and I think a big part of that it, which people can never really put their finger on, is of course charisma. And just even while he's sitting there talking, there's something endearing about him. You want to learn more. You want to know. You want to hear him singing for a couple more seconds, and that even when he's naked in the shower. So we always want more from him.
It really shows his personality and that he is resourceful, especially in working in the industry if something doesn't go right. And he said that he didn't have drums right away, so he just made do with what he had.
Right.
And I got like kind of chills just seeing him and Leah Michele sitting there, because that's like in the early stages of their career together and friendship together. And little did they know like how much was going to unfold for them, because as we know, they got very close.
Yeah, they got very close, and that was before they started dating, and really before the success of the show even started. I think that interview was season 1, kind of the very beginning of it. I don't think they could have realized what this journey was going to be like for them.
And later on in our tribute, we're gonna show some of the most incredible moments between Finn and Rachel for you guys who are waiting for that. So hold off.
And we also have some of his iconic performances.
Iconic performances and one-liners. We've got a lot coming for you guys, just so you know what you can be prepared for.
Yeah, before we get to all of that, we do want to say, I'm sure all the Gleeks out there know this, but Cory died earlier this month, and obviously why we're having this tribute in his hometown of Vancouver.
On July 13th.
On July 13th. And, you know, it was really shocking, I think, for all of us. And people didn't really know what to do. The news, at least for me, came out on Twitter. I was with a group of friends, and we were all kind of together and shocked by it. We're all in the industry. And by all accounts, he was trying to get his life back together. He had gone to rehab, I think, in March. And then, you know, had been traveling with Lea Michele, had been seen in Mexico and other places. And that was not the thing we were expecting at all that night.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, moments that really hit you, you can remember exactly where you were, what you were wearing, you know, these huge monumental moments. And I don't know, not that I don't know why this one struck me so hard. I do, because I love the show, and seeing somebody who's around our age in the industry, you know, succumb to such a horrible thing, it just it's hard. So I can picture exactly where I was. July 13th happens to be my birthday, so an unhappy birthday to me. And I remember I had just gotten in the cab, and we were on the way to the bar with my friends, and I got a text from somebody saying, "Happy birthday, can't believe your birthday is the day that Cory passed." And I was like, and I made everybody do a moment of silence. I mean, I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah.
And we were all texting back and forth, just completely.
I got all of your texts like the moment I stepped out of a movie theater. So I didn't know like right away because I was stuck in a movie theater. And then as soon as I walked out and saw my text, I was like, wait a second. Somebody's messing with me right now. Like, this can't be right. Then I started like crazily looking through Google on my phone, and like, you know, lo and behold.
I had just finished watching the movie, and I received the news from you ladies, and it wasn't from any other social media, and I was in shock. And I was with a friend, and I had to be driving downtown LA, and I just couldn't think straight, to the point where I shouldn't be driving. I'm like, I'm not paying attention, and I was just so stunned with what happened. I couldn't believe it.
I think the reason why it hits us hard, being Glee fans and all the other fans out there, is, you know, especially if you've been watching since the beginning, you really did watch this, not only his character grow, but Cory Monteith grow as a talent. And it's been a journey. It's 4 seasons in. That's a long journey that you go on with this person, this character. So to think that we won't continue to see growth, at least on the big screen, you know, like we can remember him all, you know, the best we can, but to not see his character continue on, like.
And I think we've mentioned it before on the show. They were, Finn and Rachel were the kind of Ross and Rachel of Friends. Like, you expected them to be together in the end. And I think it was kind of, I saw on Twitter people talking about that it was like 2 deaths. In a lot of ways, it felt like Cory had died, and then this character that we'd all come to know died as well.
Right, and we'll talk later about how they're going to deal with that, because of course that's something that the show can't just ignore. They know that all of us fans out there are waiting, and like you're saying, it's almost like 2 deaths, losing this love that we've been following, and it's so iconic, like Ross and Rachel. Yeah. So yeah, of course, it's devastating on that front too.
And it's hard because this is someone we got to see every week with the new episode, and so it is like losing a friend.
And in between, when you were YouTubing everything.
Yeah, we saw him regularly, and he was in our lives.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think people are still, when I was prepping for this, looking on Twitter, people are still surprised by, you know, it, and every day it's kind of more news comes out, and Lea Michele reappears, and I think it's going to take, season 5 premiering for people to, I hate to say accept, but maybe come to terms with what has happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's, accept, come to terms. There's all these sayings that you could put there, but I don't think anybody is really ever going to fully understand, because it seems like such a contradiction when you see this amazing guy and it's such a young death.
Yeah, especially at 31 years old, and just the struggles. He admitted in his Parade magazine interview how many struggles he's had, and I think everyone wanted to see him, you know, overcome it and be, you know, this successful actor. I know I did.
Especially because he didn't keep them hidden from the world. When he had problems, he told everybody about it, which is a sign that he really, really wanted help.
And also, he said that the reason why he didn't like keep it so hush hush when he went into rehab was that he hoped that his story might help someone who is going through maybe going something similar.
And that's still the hope, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That you look at the story and hopefully his fans or people in similar predicaments. I mean, there are quotes from him saying, like, I don't want anybody to expect to drop out of high school and get famous. And, you know, he's talked about that a million times, that not everybody can have his road. But if you are going through a similar predicament, hopefully you look at this and it's a reality check.
Yeah,
Yeah,
find
and
your
it-
own path to success.
Exactly, and it was good on his part to announce it publicly and use this platform in a good way,
Right.
in a positive way, and so other people can learn from this. And it also helped with that he had so many people cheering for him and rooting for him and like supporting him through his struggles.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Cory is that he really did use his celebrity to try to do good. He got involved with nonprofits. He does homeless work here in LA, or did homeless work here in LA. He works with Project Limelight, which is an organization in Canada, and Virgin Unite. So all these things to help youth, and that's something he was super invested in.
Yeah, which of course is great, always using your status to do good. But like we've said a million times, even just tonight, he's a do-gooder.
He absolutely is. But you should tweet at us or go on our YouTube channel or on iTunes. You can rate and comment on our show and, you know, weigh in. Tell us your favorite Finn memory, Finchel, maybe something you remember about Cory. We want to hear it all. We'll be here. Definitely here to respond to all those comments. And his cast members, too, have been very, expressive about their feelings towards his passing. The person that everyone was waiting to hear from was Leah Michelle, of course, his real-life girlfriend, and, as we mentioned, Rachel on the show. Of course, everyone knows that.
All you Gleeks know.
Exactly, everybody knows that. And for a long time, her rep had said a few things directly after.
Just asking them to leave her alone and give her privacy.
Right, and she finally this week tweeted, "Thank you all for helping me through this time. With your enormous love and support, Cory will forever be in my heart." So a really simple statement, but very sweet.
Because what on earth are you supposed to tweet?
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing else to say.
And honestly, like, that's the last thing that a person in that situation would be thinking about. You know, like, I can't even imagine if I was her, like,
yeah, I mean,
would have no words for a very long time.
Even all the cast members, because I noticed that all the cast members, they took a few days to mention anything on their personal Twitter accounts too about it too.
Let's hear what some other of them had to say.
Right. So Mark Salling was the first to tweet, and he actually just said no. And they were close friends. They've gone golfing together and other things like that. So I feel like that was an interesting, just almost immediately. And I think he deleted the tweet shortly after.
He did delete it, and he tweeted something about how he lost a brother.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that was an interesting.
But that just shows the disbelief. You know, we
Yeah.
were all saying that, and it had, like, no way this can't be true.
I mean, I think honestly, at first, it really was like, no.
Yeah.
Not just no. Like, I think people really disbelieve.
Yeah.
No words, you know, like, no, there's no way.
It took me a few days to want to listen to, like, Glee music again. It was really hard to kind of come to terms with at first. And then still hard to come to terms with. But other cast members, Dot Marie Jones, just in all caps saying, "I have no words, my heart is broken for Cory." But one of my...
And that's Coach Beast who said that.
Yes, of course. And then Matthew Morrison and Cord Overstreet both still did performances. I believe Matthew Morrison in New York and Cord here in LA. And they dedicated those performances to Cory, of course. And I think they said it was an emotional night, especially at Matthew Morrison's concert.
I can only imagine. I mean, how do you find a way to pick up and go on stage and still perform? But, like, that's the motto of this business. The show must go on. So I think that's what he would have wanted, and he would want everybody to keep moving on, and he wouldn't want the show to be canceled or anybody's lives to be stopped.
Yeah.
Keep performing, keep doing your love,
Right.
your passion.
And it's beautiful to, to go on in honor of and in memory of your friend who has passed away.
Exactly, and Jane Lynch, being the professional that she is, went on The Tonight Show and talked about him, and she just kind of expressed that he loved to travel and he enjoyed being with his friends, but most memorably that he would fly out on his own dollar if a child was sick and go spend time with them.
And she was told, if you saw that interview, she was fighting back tears.
Yeah.
And, really trying to hold it together.
Right.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And Leah Michelle finally in public today for the first time, and she had her Cory necklace on that she's worn for as long as they've been together, I think, a long time now, and still had that on. So hopefully the Glee cast, is coming together. They had a memorial at Paramount, which is great. I heard it was an extremely emotional day, but at least they're able to come together as a family, and they'll be back filming next month.
Right.
So.
Something interesting that I've been hearing, just because I'm all over these blogs and talking about it with my friends, is a lot of people were questioning whether Leah Michelle and Cory Monteith's relationship was real outside of Glee, or whether it was a staged relationship. And I'm just going on record, and I'm sure you would all agree that it was clearly, obviously, 100% genuine and real.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question in anyone's mind at this point about.
There was definitely something there.
Yeah.
And
more than something,
and Leah always said in interviews and whatnot, and when people asked her about her relationship with Cory, she said nothing but positive things, and she was so happy that Cory was in her life and all that.
And supported him every step of the way. So just to clear the air on that.
Yeah, and she's
true.
As industry people, I know they were together fully and truly.
Yeah, 100%. There's absolutely no indication, at least that I've seen, otherwise. But all the cast, including Leah, is coming together to create this scholarship in Cory's name. Adam Shankman, who is a Glee director as well as a So You Think You Can Dance judge, is working with his foundation, the Dizzy Feet Foundation, which supports dance and performing arts, to create something in Cory's memory, and I feel like he would be really happy with that.
Which is so cute, because we know that his character has always struggled with dancing on the show, and Dizzy Feet, I feel like, would be like almost a perfect nickname for him.
Yeah, I know. It's just like an adorable fit. Absolutely.
That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah. So are we ready to go into some musical performances?
I think everybody wants to see them.
Do it.
Yeah.
As we know, Cory is a great performer, singer, and performance-wise, and a lot of his big musical numbers happened to be with Rachel and his cast members. And the first one we're going to talk about is, we can't miss this, Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Yeah, and
That
it's
number.
just, I keep saying this, but iconic.
Iconic, yeah. There's really no other word for it. That song literally kickstarted Glee.
I was just going to say, it's like the classic that it's the thing that started everything.
Yes,
absolutely.
It totally was the beginning of this show, and you can even see in their first performance when they're all in the red shirts, you can see the chemistry between all of them, that they are great friends, they're great performers, and even the chemistry between Rachel and Finn, that was starting, and that's kind of the scene that I thought, I was like, oh, they're a great couple, and they're going to be a great couple to watch in the future.
But an odd couple, not the typical high school couple.
But you can definitely tell the chemistry, and this is just an overall amazing performance. And every time I hear Don't Stop Believing, I think of Glee version, not Journey.
I would say that this is the anthem of the series. Like, this is the message that that Glee is trying to impart on the viewers and their fans.
Couldn't stop watching it when it first premiered. I would go back and DVR it over and over and over again.
It's one of two songs that we got a reprise of. So I mean, the other one being Teenage Dream, which really wasn't. It was an acoustic version. So this is the only one that they decided to go back and
perform twice.
And like you're saying, I think if you have one song on your phone that is from Glee, it's this.
Definitely. So let's listen to a little bit of this song, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
Perfect.
Just a small town girl.
No, so emotional.
She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born
tissue in this room right now. Look at the way they look at each other.
Yeah. And they're all so young. They've changed so much over the course of all the seasons.
Yeah.
Glee has changed, but it somehow has kept its like heart the same.
I can't get over watching this right now.
Yeah.
And I've watched it like 10 times at least since just this one.
Yeah. Even then, like, just look at that chemistry though between Cory and Leah Michelle. They're so great on stage together.
Yeah. And I watched an interview when they were all getting interviewed for when they did the reprise of the song, and they talked about memories about shooting this for the first time together, and this was all of them just starting to get to know each other. But from that, they all said that shooting this scene, they immediately became a family.
Yeah. And they said it took them a long time, I remember, to film.
A day and a half.
Yeah, a day and a half to film this, and they've obviously gotten that down because now they do so many performances.
Yeah. Wow.
Nothing but memorable.
Yeah.
It's so weird when somebody passes who has so much time on camera because it's like he's still here. You know, I'm watching him right now.
Mm-hmm. I'll never forget.
Will's in disbelief too, I guess. Okay.
I just
So, I mean,
So good.
Should we move on to another?
I think we could just watch this all day.
I know, we're just like dead silence.
We
in the
are
room.
Gleeks
Just,
through
like,
and through.
I have goosebumps. I mean,
we're all like turning to each other, just can't get enough. But we should talk about this next clip.
Yeah, and this Don't Stop Believing was in the premiere, the very first episode of Glee, the pilot. And then, so the next one we're going to talk about is Faithfully, another Journey song that they covered. And this scene was, I believe, when Finn first told Rachel, "I love you."
I mean, I just can't get enough of all the Finchel scenes, and we're going to do more of them in a minute here, but the song, it's just so, it's everything you could want, and it also shows his evolution as a performer, I feel like.
and I feel like what an incredible tribute that he has left to her, you know, or a special gift.
Highway run to the midnight sun. Wheels
Unbelievable talent.
round,
Beautiful.
you're on my mind.
He's so gorgeous.
Like an angel.
You could just see the romance between those two. It's undeniable.
This is when he first says he loves her.
Yes.
I remember, yeah.
He says it right before they walk out.
It's pretty much perfection.
Can you just picture her going back and watching these?
I think about that every time I go back now and watch a clip of him. I can't even imagine.
It's gotta be.
Because she's also essentially watching their romance unfold with all of these clips. Like
Yeah.
the
The
romance, the
audience.
characters' romance.
I mean,
We see the Rachel and Finn unfold. We see them unfold as people. It's beautiful.
I was about to say for Gleeks, it's Finn and Rachel, but for her, it's all the behind the scenes and filming all of this. I mean, there's so much to their story.
How could you argue that this is not one of the best performances, best songs that's ever been on in anything? Like, I just think that this performance is so flawless.
It's one of my favorites for sure, too.
Full of love and passion and heart. Goodness.
I love the way their voices, Cory and Leah's voices blend together.
Because she's, like I was saying, she's so classically trained and he's so like, street, you know?
Yeah.
They complement
Gritty.
each other in so many ways.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, so good. So good.
I'm like,
Yeah.
That's just an amazing, perfect performance. I can't even say anything but it's just perfect.
It's perfect.
You couldn't ask for anything different.
Yes, and one else that definitely needs an honorable mention is Pretending. That was in the finale of season 2, the episode New York, where they're at the Nationals, I believe. And this is the original song that Finn, the character Finn wrote, and this is where the beginning of this scene is very similar to the beginning of Journey, or no, sorry, I'm getting all confused. Faithfully, and where this is where Rachel's like, I'm choosing my career over a relationship. But the song is so beautiful, even though that they do love each other, that they sing to each other and like with full passion.
I always love the original songs on Glee.
Yeah,
I mean, they're so
good.
much fun. But we also kind of wanted to mention that Finn, or Cory Monteith, had a great dramatic acting skills. We see him do so much of the kind of like fun, big performances, but he also was able in theatricality to have this moment with Kurt where they're yelling at each other in the bedroom, and I think Mike O'Malley comes in and has to like separate them.
Yeah, that was the episode where Kurt was rearranging Finn's room, and Finn didn't like it, and he had a bit of some homosexual slurs, and that's when Bert came in, and he was like, no, you're not going to say that to my son. Get out of my house. But I believe that performance was so memorable just for the acceptance of homosexuality in all of Glee in the storylines, and that was a pivotal scene with Kurt and Finn, because that scene showed their relationship starting, because they had trials and errors and stuff, but they got over that.
Just Cory's ability to get there every time. You know, he never fell flat on a performance. And even if you guys remember in season 4, there would be a couple performances from some of the other newer male cast members, and I would be like, see, but if that was Cory, he would, you know,
Exactly.
because he always got there.
And Mike O'Malley, who played Kurt's father, actually that's exactly what he was saying when he was remarking about Cory's passing. He said, it was remarkable to me when we were shooting that scene over and over again, the depth of emotion he was able to portray, the sorrow, the shame. And you see it on camera. It's incredible.
Every time.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a time where I was watching and I thought that he fell flat. I can't think of one. So that's obviously a testament to his acting abilities, just going further than talking about his musical skills, which are apparent to anybody who doesn't even own a TV. All you have to do is hear the songs.
Yes,
Right.
that's
So-
true.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we should definitely talk about the couple that everyone is going to miss so much, and that is Finn and Rachel.
So let's talk about the phenomenon that became Finchel. There's tons of Finchel fans out there. I know that throughout the seasons, Stephanie was like our epitome of like,
mean,
I want Finn and Rachel to be together. I don't care
Every
about
episode,
Brody
Finchel.
Or Jesse, or
Yeah, I was just like,
Jesse,
I was like, all these other guys need to go away. It's all about Finn and Rachel, and I think the characters knew that too. I
Right.
really do. I think that they knew that they were going to be together in the end.
And really,
Yes.
throughout the seasons, it really was this genesis, like this journey of what started out as a very awkward pairing. I wrote down a funny line from like the first episode of the first season when Rachel goes up to Finn in line and she's like, I think the rest of the team expects us to be an item. You, the hot male lead, and me, the stunning young ingenue everyone roots for. It just really like set the tone for the dynamic that was going to happen between them, because it is not a likely pair. He at the time was this big jockey guy, and she was the thespian, you know, which falls under, as you know from high school, kind of the geeky crowd. And no one really expects those two types of cliques to get together in a relationship.
But it was really her voice and his voice that did it for one another, which is like the most
Yes.
beautiful part of the whole story.
They bonded over music.
Yeah.
And it shows opposites attract.
It does.
True, and they had some of the best timing, like on television together. Just their their dialogue back and forth, so good.
There
Credit
really
to
was
Glee
a
writers.
real chemistry behind all of that.
It was nothing forced, so by the time that we got to them not being in the same city, we were just waiting for them to meet up, you know? It wasn't like, oh, I forgot about them. It was like every episode, when do we get to see them back together?
When does Finchel happen again?
That was my main question.
So it really was.
Before I went to bed every single night.
So I've got 2 key moments that I want to talk about, and then our third one will show a clip, which I thought was one of the most powerful moments for Finchel.
Or in general, ever.
In general, ever, yes. And now it's going to, anyways, we'll talk about that in a second. But so this whole genesis led to the first, I think, big milestone moment for Finchel was when Finn actually proposed to Rachel's character. So they've been through the gamut, they've had their ups and downs, and Finn decides that he wants to take the plunge with this girl that he is so madly in love with. And if you'll remember from that scene, they are back on the McKinley Theater stage, which, as you know, that's where they had their cute first date, first kiss, when they had the little picnic laid out. And he takes her, and they're there because he wants to remember that. He wants to commemorate that. And even then, he feels like he's the underdog. He says that, you know, I've got high school 0, life 0 written all over me, except for one thing, and that's you, Rachel. And he just can't believe it. He says, for some reason, Rachel, you chose to let me love you. And I feel like if I could just convince you to let me keep doing that, then everything will be okay. And I just remember that moment when we first saw him really profess it that way.
Yeah, it's just he loved her unconditionally, and that's just one of those things that I think it's rare, and he really saw that she was like a light to him. And another moment kind of that was mentioned on Twitter a bunch in the aftermath was from Extraordinary Merry Christmas, and it's where he gives her a star named Finn, and it's just because she's already a star. He knew that he was with someone pretty incredible.
And even remember going back to the proposal, how neither of their families wanted, you know, they had the whole issue with their families and getting accepted, but they didn't care.
Right.
They didn't care.
Yeah. And I thought the line, there was a funny line during his proposal. He's like, I opened up my first credit card to get this ring, and it just reminds you, like, these characters are kids in high school. It's young, budding love, and they're just, you know, they are fearless, and they just want to run with the romance that they feel like they've found. And it just reminds you where you were at maybe when you were watching the show, because a lot of kids grew up and they're in the same age as these characters, and they could maybe relate to this kind of budding young romance that happens to so many people at that age.
Yeah, I think that's where we are.
It makes you want to call your high school sweetheart and be like, what are you still doing?
Exactly. I was going to say.
But that is not my advice to you guys. Don't go do that.
I was going to say, yeah, high school love, I feel like theirs was even like greater than high school love.
Yeah.
What it ended up being was a greater love story.
Of course.
Than
Definitely.
The Romeo and Juliet of our time.
Now, so for the second moment, as you know, the wedding didn't end up happening when they had planned it to, because Quinn got in an accident and you know, just a bunch of events that happened that caused it to be postponed.
And because when you're that in love, why not wait? You know, you can do it because you know you'll be together forever.
So the next moment for me that I found to be so telling of the real love of Finchel is the moment where Finn pretty much tells Rachel, or breaks up with Rachel, not because he doesn't want to be with her, but because he wants to see her reach her full potential, and he knows that she can only do that without him in the picture, because to stay together would mean she'd have to stay at McKinley or stay in Lima, and not go out and venture and really develop her talents out there in the Big Apple. And he says, you know, I want to marry you so badly, Rachel, that I can't go through with it. He's like, I'm setting you free, and you are going to get on that train, and you are going to go to New York, and you are going to be a star without me, and that's how much I love you. And
I just like, just because I have it here, and I just want to even go further than that, because the next part,
Yeah, go ahead.
he tells her to surrender. I know how hard that is for you because of how hard you hold on to stuff. But we're just going to sit here and we're just going to let go and let the universe do its thing. And if we're meant to be together, then we're going to be together. Whether it's in a little shoebox apartment in New York or on the other side of the world. Okay? Will you do that for me? Will you surrender? It's just like, you just want to die a little bit inside.
And doesn't that just take you back to that moment at the train station? It brings me right there. Like, I think of immediately their faces, that whole experience, him running along the train. Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, and I had actually watched that particular scene again last night, and it's still heartbreaking watching it over again because you can see she didn't want to break up. But their love is so real that even though there's a breakup, you still know it's going to happen in the end.
And that, I agree. And that scene particularly for me, again, was proof of what a talented actor he was, because that scene you could really feel, I could really feel the emotion in what was happening between him and Leah, or Rachel. And it, like, you were there with him. It was almost like he was saying it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he was telling me, like, I had to go chase my dreams, and I was feeling everything and being inspired by it.
And I remember Lea Michele talking about filming that scene and saying that, you know, they were in a relationship at the time, and they went together afterwards, and she was like, it was just like us, you know, together for to the night, and like, just like that they couldn't get over it.
We're struggling for our words so much. It's like,
no, hard to talk about, but
it's impossible. It's impossible. So forgive us if we
There's just so much to say about it, you know? Okay, and then the last one, we're going to show a clip here. We Are Endgame. We all remember that.
Oh my God. This was the clip that we were all talking about.
Don't do it to me.
We all just melted when we heard that line.
Yeah.
This is the clip. This is the dialogue. This is the scene I will now, like, it has such a deeper meaning for me now watching it.
Absolutely. It's one of those scenes that will live on forever.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before we play it, it's Finn and Rachel come together again after she's been in New York for a few months, and she's sort of dating and living with this new guy.
Towards the end of season 4.
Yes. Episode I
prostitute.
Do. Episode I Do. It was the
Brody.
Valentine's episode.
And Finn has a little conversation with her off to the side during a celebration.
Traditionally, only single girls line up to catch the bouquet.
I'll pick out the song.
See, traditionally, only single girls line up to catch the bouquet. She loves me.
I am single.
You live with a guy. She loves me not.
Have you been drinking?
You know, you were the one who told me to stop moping around and being such a sad sack. She loves me. And it got me thinking about Will and Emma, about how relationships are a lot like flowers. If you find the right seed, put it in good soil, give it water and sunlight, bam, perfect bud. She loves me. And then comes winter and the flower dies. But if you tend that garden, spring will come along and that flower will bloom again. She loves me.
Are you telling me that you want to be a gardener?
I'm asking you how you can live with a guy but still be single. She loves me not.
Come on, it's New York. Okay, haven't you ever seen Sex in the City? Brody and I had a very mature conversation. We just decided that we're not gonna, you know, put any labels on anything and worry about what we are.
She loves me. So do you really believe all that stuff you tell yourself about no labels and mature conversations, Sex in the City? Really? She loves me not.
You think I'm lying to you?
I think you're lying to yourself. She loves me. And I think that the reason you can't really commit to Brody is because you're still in love with someone else. She loves me not.
You?
You and I both know how this thing ends. I don't know how or when. And I don't care where you're living or what dope you're shacked up with. You're my girlfriend. We are endgame. I know that. And you know that.
We gotta go sing or do that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those moments you wish you kissed somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Epitome of everything.
Don't you? And doesn't it make you just want to do? Like, have you ever been there in the moment you're like, you want to kiss somebody but you just don't? Like now, I just think you gotta.
Yeah.
You just gotta do
I think
it.
you got that.
So my advice to you is call back your high school sweetheart
and then kiss him.
and then
Or your
kiss
current
him.
sweetheart.
Or your current one.
Or-
Do it. Just go for it.
I can watch that scene over and over and over and over again, and I still get the same feeling.
It's so beautifully phrased. Endgame, you know?
Endgame.
Yeah.
And what's more important than that?
He says, if you find the right seed and put it in good soil, spring will come along and the flower will bloom again.
Yep.
And really, that's what they were. Finn and Rachel had the right soil, and we saw it being cultivated throughout all of these seasons, and we just wanted them
Yeah, it's a
to be
beautiful
together.
metaphor.
Badly. As a Finchel fan, I can just say it's all I wanted out of the end of Glee. But I think we should lighten it up a bit now, and we're gonna play a little game, I guess.
Yes, okay. So we've got this game. I'm going to read quotes, and I'm going to make you guys guess. They're all Finn quotes, so you don't have to guess who said it. I'm looking for either the episode or the person he said it to, whatever you can give me about the quote.
Okay.
Some of them are very easy, and some of them you're going to be like, I don't even remember him saying that. You guys at home can play too, so, shout at your computer, whatever you want to do. I can't actually hear you, but I'm with you in spirit as
Tweet
we
at
all are.
us.
Yeah,
Tweet
I
at
was
us.
gonna say
We're live
tweet at me.
tweeting.
Tweet
Yeah,
at
give
us.
me help.
I think we've been getting tweets,
Yeah,
right?
we've been getting tweets from everyone. Thank you.
So, thank you. We love that you guys are listening and still showing your love for Cory. Okay, so starting off,
All right, here we go. Did we get a prize?
should I try to do a voice? I don't think I can.
Just try.
Okay. Don't you get it, man? We're all losers. Everyone in this school. Hell, everyone in this town. Out of all the kids who graduate, maybe half will go to college and 2 will leave the state to do it. I'm not afraid to be called a loser because I can accept that's what I am. But I'm afraid of turning my back on something that actually made me happy for the first time in my sorry life.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, team.
I feel like that's beginning.
I want to say that's like theatricality.
Yeah, season one.
Okay, we're going season
Like the
one.
Lady Gaga episode or something.
Season one.
Okay, I'm with that.
Should I give
Lady
it to you guys?
Gaga. Lady Gaga episode.
Who do we think he's talking to?
I feel like he's talking to
Mark Salling.
Mark Salling.
Yeah. Okay, so we're season one, the pilot.
Oh, that's early on.
Wow.
And yes, he's speaking to Puck. So
We were right.
hope you guys got that at home. Okay,
yeah.
next up. this is tough
I was totally
it's going to be
wrong.
tough to guess the person he's speaking to, so
Okay.
just try to give me a situation here.
Okay.
Okay. I need to ask you something. I'm dating Rachel. She's great, but she's kind of a prude. I'm kind of going crazy. Her boobs aren't great, but they're still girl boobs, and I would really like to touch them. I've dedicated a week of my musical life to you. I hope you can see it in your heart to answer my prayers.
Jesus.
That is the grilled cheeses.
Grilled cheeses.
Season 2 episode,
okay.
Grilled Cheeses.
Yes.
Good one. Marisa wins that one. Okay, let's move on.
She knows her cheeses.
Okay, this one's a little less light, but I know you. I know you have 4 different kinds of crying. You got fake crying when you want something, which always involves a tissue.
I know the answer.
You've got the single crying, which this can't be, the disappointed crying, which involves sobbing, and the crying over a guy, which I know very well because it used to be reserved for me.
Rachel, talking about Brody. Yeah.
Okay, you guys are killing it so far. This one might stump you, though.
Let's see.
Cucumbers can give you AIDS?
Oh, that's the one with Holly Holiday. That's the Spanish teacher.
Oh my God!
Marisa is so on it with these lines.
The episode is sexy, and
Yes.
he's speaking to Mercedes, and Mercedes is like, "Oh my God, they can't! I just had one of my salad." Okay,
Am I right? Am I right?
You are right. You're right. You're right. You're totally right.
Killing this.
I love games.
So the next one, I'm looking for a scenario because it's got a little voiceover work that he's doing. You know how they're talking to themselves in the voiceover. Okay. I call my high school career a total success. I mean, not in terms of grades and stuff, but I won state title in football and a national championship in Glee Club, and it turns out I never actually accidentally got anyone pregnant.
Wait, who is he saying this to?
What season are we in?
I think it's season 3 because we're graduating.
Brilliant.
Okay, there you go.
And the episode is Goodbye.
Yeah, that's the finale.
So yes, the finale of season 3. Okay, moving on.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Moving on. Hope you guys get this one. In America, dudes don't ask other dudes to be friends, except on Facebook, but even then, it can take years.
Oh, I mean, such a thin quote, but
what season are we in? Or who's he talking to? Or what's the
I
episode?
feel like it's Cord Overstreet to Cord,
Yeah,
maybe?
3. Like he's talking to Sam.
3.
Well, I'll give you a hint. We're in Pot of Gold.
3.
Season 3, Pot of Gold, guys. Who's it about? Who's our little leprechaun on the show?
Rory. Yes, Rory.
Yeah.
He's talking to Rory.
Okay, moving on.
All right, well, Cord
This is
was
getting
wrong.
progressively harder.
Okay. We're good so far.
We have a couple more. Okay, stick with me, guys. I think it's just that the Glee Club just doesn't see me as an adult. Oh, God, is that what coffee tastes like? How do people drink that?
Oh, he's talking to Coach Beast.
You're the best! Yeah!
Marisa!
Season 4, dynamic duets.
Yes.
Okay, one more?
No, we got 2 more.
Oh, 2 more.
The second to last. Hey, check this out. I got this from the library. Did you know you could just borrow books from there?
Early on,
Talking to
We're early on.
It's early on because it's definitely like back in his job.
So we're
days.
season 1.
We're season 1.
Talking to Rachel or Quinn? Wait.
I'll give you a hint. It's his mentor.
Will.
Oh,
Yeah.
Talking to Mr. Shoe. Okay.
How embarrassing to ask your mentor that.
And we'll go with the last one. I've got the rest of my life to be a grown-up, and for now, it's okay to be young.
He's talking to Puck at when they're in college.
So
at the dorms.
we're very close.
Yeah.
It's in a voiceover, and he is currently watching everybody do the Harlem Shake in that scene.
Oh, I remember it
So
now.
we're
Yeah.
season 4, Seed Dreams.
Yeah.
Him doing the Harlem
it.
Shake.
That's when they were at the college.
Yeah,
They were
such a
partying
fun
it up.
moment.
Those
Yeah.
are good lines.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
some
that
good
was fun.
ones.
Thank you,
There's a
Roxy.
million more too, and obviously people are posting them everywhere. So if you want more of his one-liners, you can tweet at me. I will send them to you, or you can Google it, or
tweet
you can go back and watch every episode.
Or tweet at us your favorites too, because we want to hear them.
Yeah, that's true. Also, tweet at everybody.
Yeah.
Let us know what your favorite line is, because I can't read them all because we would be here a whole night.
Yes,
A whole season.
And we should definitely get to the future of Glee now that there's so many changes happening on this show.
Right.
First and foremost, obviously, is in the aftermath of Cory's passing, how they're going to handle the character of Finn. Ryan Murphy kind of stayed silent for about a week or two about it and finally did an interview with Deadline to discuss kind of how he's going to handle the production. And he mentioned that he's really been working with Leah Michelle to figure out what the right way to handle it is. There's not a lot of shows who have had to deal with this midway through. They've already been renewed for 2 more seasons, so they have to come up with a way of making the story continue, even though we all thought it was going to be a Finchel story.
And like we're talking about, he's such an intricate part of the storyline that it wouldn't be doing it justice to have them break up, and never see him again because he moved somewhere, and they, the fans just wouldn't believe that.
No.
Yeah, so the current game plan, I guess, is to have a 2-part season opener, which will be Beatles songs. So that's the first 2 episodes of the season.
Which they've already written.
They've already written. They're going to go back, I think I mentioned it earlier, at the beginning of August to film those. Ryan Murphy is working on the 3rd episode, which will be a tribute to Cory. It's expected, at least he's saying, that the character will in fact die and following what has happened.
Which I think is the only gracious way you could do it.
I mean,
think so, too.
yeah, you can't what you were just saying, write him off. Fans would be
Or
outraged.
replace him either. That would be.
Oh yeah, that was like a Twitter conversation. Will they replace him? And I was just like, how do you begin?
Yeah. And I think that'd be also effective too, just to the relationship of Finchel, because it'll end with Finn.
Right. It's the only respectful move to your fans, to Cory's memory, and to Finchel.
Mm-hmm.
I think so as well. So I'm glad they're doing that, facing it head on.
Yes.
Yeah, but what's also interesting is that he's not the only cast member who isn't returning at least full time. Emma, who Gemma Mays plays Emma, announced this week while she was promoting the Smurfs that she's not going to be returning, at least as a series regular, to the show, which is, I think is sad because that's another relationship I loved, Will and Emma together. Not really getting an end to their story. Maybe she'll be back for a few episodes, though. I can hope.
Yeah, because I don't see them splitting up, so.
Yeah, I hope she's back in some capacity.
They kind of seem to do their own things anyway, as a couple.
Yeah, I know.
One
they go
bounces
off
out, yeah.
separately.
Different ambitions.
And then Mark Salling, Heather Morris, who's expecting her first child, Amber Riley, Diana Agron are all not expected to be back as series regulars as well.
Which is the majority of our original cast.
When I think of the Don't Stop Believing cast, like that group,
it's them.
That original group, it's like kind of Glee 2.0 at this point, which is strange to think about.
But they honestly, I think they need that because last season there was a lot of controversy about whether the show was at the same level it had been in the original first two and even the third season. So I think that, we could be ready for a facelift. I think that these new kids are ready to shine.
Yeah, it's Glee's second generation.
Right.
And I think the new kids have really proven themselves in last season. They are fantastic, and they've got such a huge following already.
Yeah, all the new directions we can say, I guess.
The new news.
Yeah, the new news. They're going to be series regulars, so we'll be seeing much more of them next year as well.
And I think it'll be good to see, because we saw it in a few episodes of season 4 that the original Glee members always gave their word of advice and their, just their advice to the younger new directions. And so I hope we see the original come back and still give their, 2 cents in here and there.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any new people coming on the show?
We do. We have Jenna. They're casting for a character named Jenna, who will be a cute and quirky 20-something with a major reoccurring role. Her arc is supposed to start in the second episode, and right before that tribute we mentioned. And after that tribute, we should also say they are going to take a hiatus and allow the cast and crew to grieve, regroup, and they haven't announced when they'll be back after that third episode. So we can expect at least a short hiatus, if not longer, from that cast.
I agree with that decision. It feels almost wrong to just continue full force right away after the episode where his character passes away.
I'm so happy that they're allowing the cast to come together, though, and be together for a few weeks, and then separate and figure out what you need.
After all of the hiatuses we've yelled at Glee for, this is one of them that we will not be.
Yeah, and it'll give the writers time to figure out the right way to move on. I think there are so many theories in what fans want, and they have to come together in some way and find a way for this story to continue.
Right.
And that being said, there's also another new character. They're casting for, all they're saying is a new African-American student at McKinley High. So maybe another new direction person. Another new. They say both characters will be singing on the show, though, so we can expect new voices.
So I will not be cast as either of them.
You're cute and quirky, 20-something-year-old.
I guess just by saying African American, I wasn't going to be cast as that. But the singing ruled me out for both.
Hey, I've heard you sing, Roxy. You're good.
Oh,
Yes. Well, tonight has been all about kind of remembering Cory and thinking about, you know, how we can continue on that legacy and thinking about Glee in the future. And we're not the only ones who feel this way. On Twitter, there's been a whole campaign to not delete Cory Monteith's actual Twitter account. The hashtag Don't Delete Cory's Twitter has been trending multiple times in the last few weeks. And it's interesting because oftentimes you do see when someone's deceased, that account goes away. His is still up. He tweeted about, I believe, Sharknado was one of his last tweets, and he's actually gained Twitter followers.
I went back and read his most recent 100 tweets, I think.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be able to have something there, like how we have the footage or we have whatever it is, you know, pictures. We just want the memory to stay alive. So I don't see the positive side to deleting it.
Yeah. Why? I mean, I can't think of a reason why we would need to, or anyone would need to, or want to.
No, I don't know. I guess it's just Twitter's policy, but I, in this particular case, just don't see a need to. And also his Instagram, there's so many like sweet photos on there, and hopefully that can, you know, continue on and allow people to remember him.
And the thing is, it's his words, it's his content, you know, it's his personal memories that we still have access to.
Yeah, it's kind of an archive of what he wanted to share with his fans, so I don't see a need to necessarily delete it. But I'm excited, I guess, to see what happens on the show and where it goes. The show was supposed to premiere September 19th, I believe, and now it's premiering September 26th, and we will be back here to talk about that premiere episode.
We will.
Yes, we will.
And as you said, excited, it's a hard word to say because, of course, we're more than saddened about all of this, but Glee will live on, and we will be here, and I'm sure it will all be in Cory's memory.
Yeah, I think what I'm excited for is to see, how they've always been able to bounce back from everything and come up with a really fitting tribute for him. So I'm hoping that that's what what episode 3 is all about.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, like, our best wishes and prayers to his family, his friends, and all the Gleeks who are still in mourning for his loss.
Absolutely.
Yes. And let us keep his memory alive.
Absolutely. Yes. And
what a perfect choice as the ending song. R.E.M.
Yeah. Thoughts to Leah as well.
Yeah. And until September 26th.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you coming and, you know, tweeting at us and all of this, and letting us kind of remember our favorite moments with Cory and Finn and everything.
Speaking of which, where can we find everybody?
I'm at Stephanie Wenger.
I'm at Roxy Striar.
I'm at Serafini TV.
I'm at Sarah with an H, Mendoza.
And if you guys need anybody to talk to, so do we.
We want to talk to you for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
We love you, Cory.